Hey, America, don't get up.
I'm Wendy Williams. Welcome to Love Triangle.
Now, we're always looking for the name of the famous person, place, or thing in our puzzle. Waynie.
Then you will win this.
From Big W, it's a shopping spree, Rita.
Join us now for the Who's Still Standing 4-night holiday event.
Who's Still Standing is an import from Israel that's nothing more than a gigantic melding of Wheel of Fortune's puzzles and Russian roulette's gimmick. That is the only nice thing I'll say about the show, since the rest of it is just one big pile of unwatchable goo. I feel sorry for every staff member involved that's not Craig Plestis and Tim Puntillo. Let's tackle them first before getting on with the rest of this ungodly mess. These two dillweeds, along with their production company Smart Dog Media, have given us such luminary shows as Extreme Chef, a truly terrible show on Food Network, only rivaled by Cutthroat Kitchen and being the worst Food Network game out there, and of course Minute to Win It, which succeeded despite all of their attempts in making it almost as unwatchable as possible. So we have two people who are the Seltzer and Friedberg of game shows in a format that's melding two things together that just don't go together. Well, now let's see how bad they messed things up for the actual show. Well, they didn't mess it up completely. They got a competent host in Ben Bailey, and if you've seen only one episode of Cash Cab, you know he's a good host. Sadly, he isn't allowed to be personable here in between rounds, namely because you have that annoying Santa Claus voiceover and graphics package doing everything that he's supposed to do. So his roles get negated to interviewing the strangers and the hero at the beginning and reading the questions. But in the little that he's left to do anything with, he's still pretty damn good. Gameplay is as follows. The hero, i.e. the person who they believe has the better sob story, goes up against 10 strangers, i.e. people who don't have a good sob story, and they battle each other to hopefully win the hero $1 million. A question is asked with the answer half revealed a la Wheel of Fortune, and the hero and stranger have 20 seconds to answer the question. The first question always goes to the stranger. If the stranger gets it right, then the next question goes to the hero. We ping-pong back and forth until somebody can't answer within the 20 seconds, and then they fall through a hole in the floor. If the stranger somehow wins, they get $10,000. If the hero wins, they get an amount between $1,000 and $20,000, which builds up into a pot until they get to the 8th stranger, where that's worth $250,000. The 9th stranger is worth $500,000. And if you beat all 10 strangers, you win a cool $1 million. Wow, how original. But the hero also gets 3 or 2 passes, depending on which episode or even which stranger they are facing, since they love to change gears midstream of the show because these two idiots don't know what the fuck they're doing. Anyway, the winner stays upright, while the loser, falls through a hole in the floor. One nitpick here. Replaying the falling of the person does not make it more dramatic, it makes it more pathetic. In order to show how this can be done right, Russian roulette, show them how it's done.
Time to go back to Las Vegas.
But back to the gameplay. I hate it when the advantage is heavily in favor of the supposed hero. Makes the other 10 people lucky to have made it past the contested call, where aptitude for the game is neglected in favor of the sob story, setting up these guys to look like schlubs and to fail. Oh, basically like any other Smart Dog show out there. So now I present to you a new segment in the Inductions called
How would you produce it?
Here's how I would fix this. The general 1 versus 10 gimmick for the show is okay, but now I make everybody seen as equals, not because somebody has a better sob story. For each round, the players have 60 seconds on the clock. Once the contestants ask a question, their clock will start. Once they answer a question correctly, their clock stops and their opponents start. Each contestant has 1 pass, where they can pass the question to their opponent. Once the clock hits 0, the trapdoor opens. If the 1 falls, then the person who unseats him gets the choice. Keep $10,000 or gets the takeover as the new 1. That way we could have a continuous rapport with the contestants, and so they don't feel like absolute schlubs. And if you're going in your mind that it sounds a lot like the first round format from Grand Slam, well, you're right. But it makes total sense to use it here. Each victory for the 1 is worth an amount between $5,000 and $25,000. After 5 victories, the 1 gets $50,000 guaranteed. 10 victories equals $500,000. Well, because it's a primetime game show, we need big money. Not only that, the rounds will at least equate to 2 minutes long and could easily fit in 10 to 12 rounds in an hour-long show, thanks to breaks and whatnot. And that's how I'd produce it. And speaking about the show itself, the main annoyance is that the show just loves to take breaks in between rounds in some artificial way to build suspense. This irritates the daylights out of everybody since it just makes people facepalm more than anything else. Hint, hint! To make it even more annoying, when they come back out from the artificial break, they replay a couple questions before we get back to the point where they took the break. All this to artificially extend a game that didn't need to be extended one bit. Or even made. Chalk up this next complaint to the short-sightedness on Plestis and Brutillo. If there was any time left over, they would play a speed run where the leftover strangers would compete to win some money. Going in some order, Ben would ask a question with only a 10-second time limit instead of a 20-second one in the main game. A correct answer is worth $1,000 to the bank, and play passes the next stranger in line. Run out of time, and they fall. Last man standing wins the money in the pot, so we have some sort of happy ending. I don't have a problem with the rules of this, but it just feels so tacked on just to give away some cash to make the viewer not having their intelligence insulted. Unlike this other show.
1, 2, 3.
With all that said, I spent about 10 minutes talking about how much the show fails at, well, basically everything. I could go on about the backstage issues with the show, but Tim Connolly did that for me with his list of the 20 worst shows of the past 10 years on his blog, and did it better than I could regurgitate it. But all some of my feelings in just these simple words. This show goddamn sucks! And that is the last induction of 2013. I hope everyone has a great holiday, and by the way, we will be back in 2014 with more new stuff on the website and on the Facebook page. Have a great new year, everyone.
You win!
I'm Mark Wahlberg. Watch your step.